Hey guys, welcome to the Bay Area Sports Addiction. My name is Alex,
My name is Nate.
and today we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors. Well, starting off, Nate, the big question of the hour lately has been, do the Warriors need to make a trade? Can I get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it hasn't really been in the Warriors' nature to make a midseason acquisition or trade over these past 7 years now, I guess. But I do think if the team doesn't really get seem to have it figured out, really go on like a little stretch or streak over this next month and a half, like maybe by the end of January, I think they definitely should consider a trade before the All Star break and trade deadline. Um, I think they just are really looking for consistency from that second unit, especially with Clay Thompson's struggles. Hopefully, he can get his legs under him, and once he gets that full season back under him, he'll get in his groove. There's been flashes of that so far this year, but I do think they don't, if the Warriors stay around 500 over this next month or so, they will be looking to for someone or a team to trade with for pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Especially over the past, I don't know, before these previous two games, the Warriors were 8-3 in a 10-game stretch, and then since Wiggins had his abductor strain, they've lost the last two games. And granted, like, not everyone was playing, but that means that the bench was out there more, and they lost to Utah, and then they lost to they lost like a heartbreaking one the other night, and that was just tough to watch. One where Jordan Poole got ripped at the end. They were up 4 with 7 seconds to go. But yeah, Wiggins is supposed to get reevaluated on Monday for his abductor strain. We've kind of been missing him badly. I know right now we're taping this on Saturday, December 10th. And the Warriors play the Celtics tonight with no Andrew Wiggins, which will be a tough test. The Celtics have been rolling. But yeah, I completely agree that the lack of depth is kind of coming up now. Wiseman was sent back to the G League. Apparently he had a really nice night last night, though. I think he had 24 and 10, 9 for 10 from the field. But yeah, I think we're going to need some help in the second unit, whether that's a big man that can defend and rebound, or if it's just an athletic wing that can guard the perimeter and move the ball around, bring the ball up. We'll have to see. Are you seeing any other needs that the Warriors' second unit is kind of lacking right now?
I think just comparing this team to last year's team, consistent 3-and-D wing. I think Otto Porter did a great job of that last year. The Warriors brought in JaMychal Green to kind of fill that role, which he hasn't quite been living up to. Otto had like a breakout comeback type year last year after kind of falling off the map for a few years there. But I think, consistent 3-and-D wing, lockdown defending guard like we had Gary Payton II last year. I think Dante DiVincenzo is a great filler for that role, but he doesn't quite bring that consistent pressure on defense every time down the floor that GP2 did. I think maybe like going after a lockdown defending guard would be huge, and just a consistent backup center if Wiseman doesn't continue to develop like he should. I think we might have to eventually give up on that and like trade him away while he still has value.
Mm-hmm.
maybe for like a backup center like Jakob Pohl or something like that, and a few other pieces, obviously, because you're going to need production. And I think with the Warriors championship window, pretty much relying on Steph, and like his ability to play at the level he's at. I think maybe next 3 seasons, maybe 4, including this one. It's pretty much where that championship window lies, and I think why not go all out, cement yourself in NBA history, and win as many championships as you can right now.
Yeah, completely agree. And I know you kind of touched on a possible trade target that the Warriors may be looking for. I don't know if you want to expand on any other trade targets that you think might be a good fit for the Warriors.
Yeah. A few that come to mind right off the bat. Jay Crowder on the Suns, who hasn't played at all this year. He's actually been trying to work his way out of the Suns. I think he'd be a great 3-and-D wing for the
you
Warriors.
Think they'd trade him to us?
I think they would. I think they would if it was the right package. I think it depends because he's a winning guy. He likes to win. He's always been on winning teams, it seems like. I think he would fill in that 3-and-D, 7th man off the bench, even start maybe sometimes if we need him to. But also comes to mind is from the Eastern Conference. I'm sure you saw the little clip of Steve Kerr and Alex Caruso talking after the game. A lot of speculation there. I think if we could get a Caruso-Vucevic package, maybe, that could be really nice. I'm not sure if we really need Vucevic, but I think Caruso would really help on the defensive side. Because I don't know how you choose between Vucevic and Looney starting, because Looney is just so consistent. But I think one of those guys, if not both, more so Caruso, just to lock down that guard defender, to help out Steph and Poole and whoever else is the other guard out there with him, because I know he'll take on that harder defensive role. And the Bulls are kind of in a weird situation where they're not living up to expectations, and they might just have to blow it up. So I think that'd be a good team to target around the trade deadline for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean those are some easy targets that I liked as well. Alex Caruso, a lot of defensive intensity, high basketball IQ, proven winner, won that championship with the Lakers. And then, yeah, obviously the clip that blew up of him and Steve Kerr chatting it up after the game. Another fairly big wing that I think could be a nice trade target for the Warriors. It may be a little bit out of left field, but it's Kyle Kuzma. He is a long wing who can move, and he can shoot. His splits aren't amazing this year. He's only shooting in the 30s from three-point land. His defensive rating isn't bad. It's below 110, which is an upgrade from last year. I think you touched on a big man that can screen, defend, and rebound is Jakob Poeltl. He's 3rd in the league in offensive rebounding with 3.9 offensive rebounds a game. There are some other big men that I think would be great in our lineup. I don't know if Vucevic is one of them. I feel like he's kind of a post-up offensive guy, and the Warriors don't necessarily need that from a big man. Some of the guys that I found while just looking around the league, not that they're possibilities, but I think that they have at some point would be a great fit, even though their contracts may not fit in our salary cap. John Collins, he's getting paid a lot of money, so I don't think this is ever going to happen, but he is making like $25 million a year. He's in the second year of his 5-year extension, I believe. And it seems like he's not happy with the Hawks, and they've been shopping him around. The Hawks have kind of been a little disappointing this year, considering, they picked up DeJounte Murray. And they had, like, John Collins seems like he'd be a great fit alongside Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, and for some reason it just hasn't been clicking. Another one I had, which I think Orlando can't trade him because he's in the first year of like a 4-year extension after his rookie contract, is Wendell Carter. I kind of see him as a little bit of a Kevon Looney type. Like, when we played them, he's getting in there, getting on the board, setting physical screens, getting their guards and their wings space, their young guards and wings space, which is what we need. We're looking for spacing on our team, and if that's one thing about Jakob Poeltl, where it's like he's not really a threat in some of those situations, but if he can create space for others by screening, rolling, Steph, Jordan Poole, Clay, they're all going to pull a shot after a screen from a guy like that. He's 7'1". He's a tank. He's going to roll in there, grab offensive rebounds, kick it back out. Like, that's kind of what we need from the big guy perspective. The last target that I had that I think would be a nice veteran pickup for the bench, former Sixth Man of the Year. He's battled the Warriors in a few series, is Eric Gordon on the Houston Rockets. He is getting old. He's in his 30s now, but he shoots the three well still. He's maybe not the slightest of foot, or I don't know the saying, but he may get caught trying to slide his feet on defense, but I think the Warriors' defensive rotations can make up for that, especially with a vet like him. He knows how to rotate on defense, so he won't ever be out of position because he got beat. And he would be just a nice veteran presence coming off the bench, in my opinion. And he can handle the ball, bring it up the court. It's always nice to have one of those guys. All right. Moving on, we're going to talk about your Western Conference Finals standing projections. So let's go 1 through 10. The 7 through 10 being the play-in tournament. And you can go through your list and then kind of I'll probe at it and ask you some questions about why you have certain teams where you do. So go ahead. Western Conference standings, final standings projections.
So for me, I have Phoenix finishing first. I think they're just built for the regular season. Even with Cam Johnson's injury, I think they'll overcome it. Chris Paul's back now. They've got the pieces, and everyone's playing out like they did last year. I think they're going to finish first. Second, I have the Nuggets. I think once they get fully healthy and get back in the swing of things with Jamal Murray, Bones Highland, Michael Porter Jr., I think they're going to be a really, really deep team, really dangerous team down the stretch. And then next I have the Grizzlies. I think Ja Morant's just kind of carrying them right now with Desmond Bane being out, and they're still doing their thing. I think they've got young, athletic, big guys that really do it all, and I think they're going to be a top 4 team in the West for many years to come. Fourth, I have the Pelicans. They've been playing amazing right now. Zion looks incredible. CJ McCollum's been solid, even when Brandon Ingram's been out for a while now. Young guys have really stepped up. Herb Jones has also been out, but guys like Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado have been really stepping up for them. Fifth is where I have the Warriors. I think they'll hopefully figure it out eventually. I think it was kind of hard for me to decide between fifth and sixth because I can't really see the Warriors being in the playing game this year. Even though they are in 11th currently, they are only 4.5 games out of first place, so it's a really tight race right now in the West. Sixth, I have the Clippers. I think the Clippers, with Kawhi coming back slowly but surely, Paul George, John Wall, they're really just like getting their feet under them. They're kind of in the same position as the Warriors. They're kind of just figuring it out as the season goes. Seventh is where I have the Mavericks. I think Luka can only carry them so far. I think the West is so deep, it's going to be hard for them to jump a few teams. And then eighth, I've got Minnesota. I think they'll figure it out. And when Cat's healthy, I think they're going to be a middle of the playing game type of team. 9-10 is kind of where things get tricky because I see Utah dropping out. I don't know about Sacramento. I think 9. I actually think will be the Blazers. I think the Blazers have what it takes. They've got Anthony Simons really showing out. Jeremy Grant was a really underrated pickup this offseason, and Dame, if he stays healthy, can really lead that team in the right direction. So I see them at 9. And 10 is really, really tough for me. I want to say Sacramento gets it done and like finally, I guess, makes the playoffs. But I think if LeBron and AD stay healthy, I think they find a way to sneak into that 10 seed. I think the Lakers can do it, even though they kind of look all over the place at times. But AD's playing at MVP level right now. LeBron's the facilitator. I think they're going to be able to kind of do their thing and sneak their way into the play-in game.
Yeah, I like that list a lot. I think 1 through 4, we are completely the same. Suns, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where it starts to switch up for me, I have the Mavericks at 5 and the Warriors at 6. So those are the two teams I have making it in, staying out of the play-in. I know you had the Clippers in there. At least for me, I just don't trust Paul George and Kawhi staying healthy for an entire season and keeping the team afloat. Like, I know Ivica Zubac has been amazing this year. Reggie Jackson's obviously just been himself, getting buckets. But the team just falls apart in my opinion. It's the Clippers. Like, it's just classic Clippers at this point. And I have the Mavericks at 5 because I think Luka just is that dude. I think he can take over games in the regular season when like people, it's kind of like the Warriors. You don't see the Warriors every night, so you don't see that system of everyone running around screening like for threes, basically 80% of their shots. You also don't have a guy that can match up with Luka every night. Like, he has such a high usage rate. He's either going to take a smaller guy down on the block and just body him and use his footwork, get by him and lay up, or he's going to step back and hit a three, or he's going to break down a defense and find someone wide open. And I think they have enough shooting on that team to at least make the 5 seed. And then, Warriors at 6. They're going to pick it up at some point. I don't know when that is right now, but the West is really tight right now. There's 4 games separating like the Warriors and what are we in now? Like 10th, 11th maybe from like the Suns and the Pelicans are in first place actually right now, but you get the point. I have the Clippers at 7 in the play-in tournament. I have the Beam team, the Kings at 8, and then I have the Trailblazers at 9 and the Timberwolves at 10. And I have the Timberwolves just holding off the Jazz. I don't think the Lakers are going to be sustainable at all. Like, AD is playing at an MVP level, and Like, it's good to see for basketball in general and the state of the league, but like, what in a week from now is he gonna like just tweak it? Like, he's banged up in like every single game. It's like, oh no, like, is he gonna be out and miss like half the season with he's grabbing his wrist on the ground right now? I mean, he eventually like comes back in the game, but it's every time he like doesn't run back on defense, you're like, oh my gosh, is he like done for the season? This team is like very dependent on AD. Like, LeBron and Russ can like do their thing, but AD is what like makes them run, because he's playing at a Defensive Player of the Year. Like, was he leading the league in blocks and steals, or he's like the only player leading their team in both blocks and steals with like over a block and a half and a steal and a half per game, something like that. But I think it's just they're very dependent on him. I don't think it's sustainable, especially with his injury history. So I have the Timberwolves barely making it in at 10. I don't think the Timberwolves are going to do anything. Like, Cat has this calf injury. It looked a lot worse than that at the time, at least the way he was just on the ground, but I think Cat's just soft. But, I mean, with Cat out, that Timberwolves team is just the Jazz from last year. Like, like they are. They've got, Ant is just Donovan Mitchell, and then they've got guys that, I mean, surround.
Yeah, like Rudy
Gobert too. Yeah, exactly. So that team's not doing it, and they're like, Ant isn't where Donovan Mitchell is yet. So there's that too. But yeah, I have the Trailblazers at 9. I totally agree with what you're saying. I think, Dame's been playing really well lately. I don't know if you watched that Nuggets Blazers game like 2 days ago, but Dame hit like a Dame time 3 with 9 seconds left, and then Jamal Murray just hit one with 0.9 seconds. I was watching on League Pass, which League Pass has actually there's been a lot of really good games lately. I like watching the Kings and the Trailblazers and the Nuggets on League Pass. Those are probably my 3 favorite non-Warriors League Pass teams. The Kings, I mean, ever since they've brought the beam into existence, like, they get a lot more following, and it's not just from people in the Sacramento area. I feel like Kings, like, you never heard of Kings fans unless they're from Sacramento, Roseville, Folsom, but now it's just become a meme on Twitter, and I think it's such a good like marketing tool that I really like it for them, because their team's not bad. Like, Harrison Barnes like might be a position where they should upgrade, but other than that, like, I really like their team. And then I have the Clippers at 7. I already described that, but yeah, I think it's going to be tough this year. But once teams are in the playoffs, once the seeding's all figured out, I think the Warriors are going to have a better idea of what they need to do. Yeah, and I mean, who knows, but maybe the standings are this close until the end of the year, but I have a feeling that the disparity is going to be more obvious once we get to the All-Star break.
Yeah, I agree. I think injuries played a huge factor in how these standings like play out. Like you said, you were skeptical on like the Clippers and the Lakers, obviously, which is completely valid. And I'm kind of banking on the fact that these guys like stay healthy throughout the year. So that'll be something to really watch for. And I do think like the teams at the top will kind of separate themselves eventually when they have like an easier part in their schedule where they're playing like a lot of the lower Western Conference teams, like the younger Eastern Conference teams, But yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Nate. If you like this Bay Area sports addiction content, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.